So I actually have a sponsor for my first podcast, and I'm super excited about it. Shout out to Anchor. So Anchor, Anchor, Anchor like you throw in the ocean anchor. So what is Anchor? Anchor is a great app if you want to start a podcast and you don't have no equipment, you don't even know what you're doing. Download this app. I promise you guys, it is super simple. You literally need to be able to have a cell phone or a computer and to be able to download an app. That's all you need. Completely free. There's no catches behind this app. So if you want to start your own podcast, download this app, Anchor. And shout out to Anchor. Thank you so much for sponsoring me for my first podcast. I truly appreciate you guys. So this is to everybody that has worked in the service industry. When I say service industry, I mean restaurants, bars, clubs, lounges. That is exactly what I'm talking about. I worked in the service industry from when I was like 15 to 25, 26. It was like on and off. I started out working at, if you're from New York, New Jersey area, you know, good old Charlie Brown's. I started out working there as a hostess, then I was a waitress there, and they actually trained me how to bartend there when I was 17, which I'm pretty sure is illegal, but it is what it is. And then as soon as I kind of learned to bartend, I left and went to clubs and lounges. Now, I could write a book. Legit, I could write a thick-ass book of the stuff that I've seen working in the service industry. And I know, talking to other people, just being in this industry for so long, we see a lot of weird shit all day long. I mean, they're weird. They're real weird. So I'm going to start off with a few short stories about Charlie Brown's. Some of these may totally scare you. This is going to open your eyes to how people actually are when you're not paying attention to them. Okay, so where do I even begin? The first one I could say was, honestly, I walked into work and it was raining really, really bad. Like, real bad. They said, oh no, it's going to be fine. It always flooded. This Charlie Brown's always flooded. We, of course, ended up losing power. Charlie Brown's thought it was a good idea to give me tea lights, like those little tiny candles, and put them on the table, as if that was going to help tables of 10 see each other. Don't even get me started. So whatever. Halfway through, I was writing on a piece of paper, like what these people wanted, going to a dark kitchen and trying to place an order for these people. Because I couldn't put anything through the computer. And I came back and wasn't just me. It was everybody's section decided that they were going to eat as much as they could with the food that they had on their table and then just get up and leave because the restaurant was dark and we couldn't see them or stop them. So another time, this man came up under the sneeze guard. Now, if you've been to Charlie Brown's, you know that they have this massive salad bar there, which has anything on it from like chicken, steak, whole loaves of bread, everything. People used to go up to the salad bar, steal entire loaves of bread and stick them into their purse. And they would literally be hanging out of their purse and then wave goodbye with a huge loaf of bread and like an orange in one hand and an apple in the other and just walk right out the door. I'm like, is anybody going to stop? Like, I'm not going to stop them for a loaf of bread. But is anybody to stop these people? This one man used to come in, order a Coke, and sit in a booth all the way in the back, like hidden, and wouldn't order any food. And I'd go back there and it would smell like straight up liquor. I'm like, what is going on in this corner? It smells so strong. I realized that this man was bringing his own like little shots from the liquor store and dumping them in the Coke. And because Cokes are free refills, what was that, like $1? And would sit in the corner of Charlie Brown's and just drink till he was annihilated and then stumble out of Charlie Brown's. This is like this is like in a 2-year span when I worked at Charlie Brown's before I was at clubs and lounges. This is just the madness at this one restaurant. Another time we had to call the cops on this same man that used to come into Charlie Brown's, put his head under the sneeze guard of the salad bar and stick his hands down his pants. And then if we would try and stop him, his excuse would be that he thought he was home. I don't really know what that means. Well, maybe I do know what that means, but I don't know what that has to do with the salad bar. Totally grossed out. And for the icing on the cake, there was a table that I went up to, and there would be 3 or 4 people sitting at this table and one little old lady, or man. I don't remember if it was a man. I don't remember if it was a man or a lady, but that doesn't matter. And she would order her food, and this person then would move to my bar, because at the time I was bartending, take her teeth out. You can't make this shit up. Take her teeth out, put them on a napkin, and stick them on the bar, and then eat mandarins from the salad bar. Then put her teeth back in, start drinking, get drunk, take her teeth out, and stick them straight on, no napkin, straight on top of my bar. I remember one time this man, woman, whoever this was here, and this guy came in. He had placed an order for pickup, came back in and was yelling at me as if I had made his order in the kitchen, that his steak tasted like, and I quote, my steak tastes like mold. I don't know has he eaten mold before? I don't know how he would even know that. And I said, okay, well, where's the steak? He opened a box, a styrofoam container, and inside it was empty. There wasn't even a crumb inside. And I said, well, where's the steak? And he said, oh, well, my wife had to eat it. She was hungry. Of course, she had to eat it. You know, Charlie Brown's ended up giving him like 3 free meals for that. On top of the fact that he ate the moldy steak, which probably had no mold on it. He was just a cheapo. So after Charlie Brown's, I moved on to clubs and lounges. I worked anywhere from like Hoboken sports bars to clubs in Hoboken to 46 Lounge, down the shore. I was kind of all over the place at one point. Okay, so at one point, I was working. It was really, really busy. I think it was a Thursday night. It was football Thursdays. I'm a huge football fan. Unfortunately, I'm a Jets fan. I don't even like to tell people that anymore because it is a true embarrassment to even tell anybody that. They should be paying me to watch games at this point. And it was a really busy Thursday night, so we would have the football, and then it would go straight into like a normal club Thursday. 2 guys walked in, and it was dark, and like I said, it was very busy in this bar, so keep that in mind. A guy looked at me, and let me remind you also, this was in Hoboken, so there were times where a lot of football or athletes would come to these bars because it was in Hoboken, straight from across the street from New York. So you would have a lot of athletes come in, so it didn't faze me at that point. I didn't really pay attention. So a guy looked at me. He was standing next, I remember it was a really tall guy and a really short guy, and said, do you know who I am? Now, first of all, who says that? Are you a douchebag? Like, I don't really give a fuck who you are. And I looked and I said, no. I looked up really quick and I kept tending to the other 50 people that were at my bar. And I went back again and he said, do you know I'm Dan Marino? And I'm like, no, you're not. So he said, yes, I am. We're going back and forth. So I pulled up a picture on my phone and held it next to him. And I'm like, holy fuck, it is Dan Marino. So I literally told Dan Marino that he's not Dan Marino. And he ended up signing a napkin. And he wrote because it was around the holidays, Merry Christmas with like a little football and his name and number on it for when he played for the Dolphins. And I have it in a frame at home. Now, if you live in this area, you know what Leprechaun is in Hoboken. Now, Leprechaun is a total, I never wanted to attend Leprechaun, but I had no problem working it because you can make a lot of money working that day. Basically what it is it's the Hoboken, New Jersey's version of St. Patrick's Day, and it's usually like the week before St. Patrick's Day. Because if they do it day of, they have problems with the town. So it's usually the week before, so people go fucking nuts. They get on that train, like the first train into Hoboken, I think it's around like 5 o'clock in the morning. They're already drinking disgusting Heinekens on the train coming in. So I had to get to work at 4:30 that morning, and I didn't leave till about 3:30, 4 o'clock the next day. So I worked the full 24-hour shift. During this, I can't even tell you what I saw. I saw a lot of insane shit going on. I had a little satellite bar that was on wheels that they put me out at the time I was in Teak in Hoboken. I was on a satellite bar. People were leaned up against it and squishing me into the wall because it was on wheels. So they had to get 2 bodyguards on each side to prevent, because they couldn't stop it from moving. I don't know who found these fucking things for this bar. To prevent it from squishing me up against the wall while I was trying to bartend. The following week, I remember I worked, it was a Friday night at Teak, which was our busiest night. And a guy came in really early, like, and I went early, not like early for a club kind of scene, I guess. It was around like 8:30. That's early. Most people don't come out till like at least 10 o'clock. And me and the guy I was bartending with, we looked at him and we're like, he just looks fucked up. He looks weird. We just got a weird vibe. He didn't order any drinks. He was just standing at our bar. We had chairs at the time at our bar. He wasn't sitting. He was standing in the middle of the bar by himself and just staring at me and at the guy, And we're like, are we going to get killed? Like, what's going on here? So we ended up going and getting the manager of the bar. All of a sudden, we see the manager walk away, and he went and got 2 bodyguards. And we're like, what the fuck is going on? Like, we didn't want to go near this man because he was just creeping us out. Long story short, the man had his hands down his pants and was doing all kinds of shit on the other side of the bar. And this is in the middle of a Hoboken bar. Like, I'm telling you, it goes from 0 to 100 with my stories. It was crazy. I was upstairs bartending, so they ended up dragging this man down the steps, throwing him outside. He got arrested. This is one of the many stories that happened at that place. Like I said, I have tons of stories. I think this was the same night. Like I said, I was upstairs. We had a ton of stairs to get up to where my bar was. I don't know who thought that was a good plan either. That's a horrible plan. When people are drinking a lot and then walking up that many stairs, and they were slippery. I would see when I was on the bottom floor bartending, because I would move bars, people would fly down these steps, especially girls in heels, would fly down these steps 100 miles an hour, slam into the wall, and then just get up as if nothing happened and just keep it moving and come order a drink. I'm like, what the hell? What the hell was that? So if you're in the service industry and you have stories, comment them on my Facebook or my Instagram, because like I said, I could write a book. Basically, I told Dan Marino he's not Dan Marino. He's not the only person I told that they're not this person. And maybe I'll make a podcast just about that, just bartending and telling people that they're not the people that they said that they were, until I looked up pictures and said, oh my God, this is that person, or oh my God, this is that person. I've done that several times, but the Dan Marino one I think was the funniest because it's Dan Marino. If you want to hear more of my fucked up opinions, please follow my podcast, and I'll see you in my next one.